Hello all, this is Doctorate Maslock talking to you about reciprocity.com. The E is written with a 3, and in this particular video, I'm going to talk to you about 5 issues that drive PhDs crazy. So if you don't know me, I'm an associate professor of innovation strategy and entrepreneurship. And I created this whole reciprocity project to give back as much as I possibly can. There were so many people that helped me out that I wanted to pay the favor forward and help you out. So there's a lot of different things that drive me absolutely crazy, but I think these are the top issues that I see with most PhDs, particularly as a professor and particularly when I was a PhD student, that just drove me up the wall. And maybe some of these things actually resonate with you. So the first thing is when you actually give advice to somebody and then they just don't listen to that particular advice. Now, if I'm investing or if somebody's investing in you and giving you a tremendous amount of advice, probably you should think about that particular advice. At least really think about it and try to figure out why you should or should not accept that particular advice. It drives people crazy if you don't listen to that particular advice. So this is a big reason why, for example, if you are setting a paper into a journal, this is going to get you rejected every single time. If somebody is trying to give you advice on the other side, in terms of the reviewers are trying to give you advice, and you are not listening to that advice and you're just kind of refuting everything that that reviewer is saying, it is instantly going to get rejected. It also can get you kicked out of a PhD program if you're simply just not listening to what somebody is trying to tell you. They are trying to help you out. They've already been there and they're trying to help you out in terms of making this particular thing better. And so you should try to absorb as much as you can or think about what they're trying to get at. If you don't agree with that particular advice, really think at what they're trying to get at and try to frame around that particular issue that they're trying to point out and get you to think about. The second thing is PhDs that are simply just entitled. Based on maybe it's they're entitled based on who they are. Maybe they're sort of the way that they grew up and then they ended up becoming successful because they got resources in their life, or maybe they worked really hard and they developed a certain amount of fame and they let that fame get to their head. It drives people crazy with this sort of entitlement that you get. So I think in terms of growing your fame even more, trying not to be entitled is really important to you, and actually having conversations, normal, real conversations, being authentic, being a real human being with other people around you is going to get you much, much further than if you're entitled and you start shutting people down just because that you perceive that they're below you. I think that is a really big thing, and that's one thing that people have to really fight to not let that be part of their life as a professor. It's really easy to get into that sort of entitlement mode where you just think that everything should be given to you for whatever reason because you've worked really hard or you had resources in your life. But you know what? A lot of people are trying to work to get there and they're trying to help you out. So why not just be a normal human being and relate to them a little bit? Now, the third thing is, this drives me crazy, when PhDs just don't push an idea. So they work on something and they think it's done, and then they just don't simply keep pushing at that idea and making it a lot better, right? So every single idea that we have is terrible and it always needs work. Even when it's complete, it's terrible. It always needs work. And the people that sort of just give up and they just say, well, this is good enough, that drives me absolutely crazy. There is a point where you do have to just say, well, this is good enough, but it's usually after the point that you're really, really exhausted with that particular idea and you just can't carry forward with that particular idea. So not pushing an idea forward, it's just not going to get you anywhere with this research. And you know what? It's just going to get people giving up on who you are as an individual. And this relates to the fourth thing is that, you know, a lot of people really either focus on the negatives and they really are just very pessimistic about this career and they say that there's really no benefit to it. I definitely was doing that for a number of years, and the reason why is, I was pretty depressed with the particular career, and I was having a real tough time with getting out of graduate school, and realizing that this is actually kind of a fun career. And there is a lot of benefits to the particular career in terms of autonomy and feeling like I can actually do a lot of different things. Always doing something that's unique and different. That is really important. Now, there's also a group of people that are really focused on the positives about the career, and they say it's just absolutely wonderful. There is, there's no downsides with this particular career. That also drives me crazy, because there are a lot of downsides that we struggle with in terms of being, so for example, being a creative and dealing with depression and dealing with anxiety and dealing with, having to motivate yourself on a regular basis. That is a real part of this particular career that we all struggle with. Not a single person that I know that is real and authentic, and they're open about these kind of things. They all struggle with these particular things. And I think this is the fifth thing that drives me absolutely crazy, and I think it drives most people crazy, is when they just give up, when PhDs just give up on themselves. You see a lot of PhD students that just peter out, or professors that after they get tenure, they just give up, and they don't want to do anything anymore. And you're like, why are you doing this? This is crazy. This is such a wonderful, fun, exciting career where there is always stuff going on. It's challenging as all get out. And the fun has nothing to do with fame and that's all part of it, right? And the salary and all that kind of stuff. But the more fun part of it is actually becoming like a mountain climber, where you're actually going up something, doing something that's incredibly tough that you didn't think that you can possibly do, and actually achieving that particular thing. Now, if you have to give up on yourself it's too early, right? Maybe you give up after your first year or second year because you just don't have the gumption. Well, so be it. But at the same time, you know what? I know that you can do this. I know that many other people before you have done this, and there is tremendous amounts of potential for you to keep going and developing yourself as a human being. So just don't give up on yourself in any sort of way. There is so much that you could do and accomplish if you just keep motivated with this and just keep sticking with it. I know that it might not seem like the best possible option for you at this moment, but you know what? There is a tremendous amount of benefits that you get from doing a PhD that are not just financial, and it's not sort of just intrinsically motivation kind of stuff, but there is just there's a lot of satisfaction that you get from accomplishing something that is really difficult that you didn't think that you can actually accomplish. It's a lot like becoming an entrepreneur, and I'm going to repeat that over and over and over again. It's a lot like being an entrepreneur, where you start something off, and most entrepreneurs are not going to do well for a few years. It takes them a long time to build a business, to actually develop something. And it's the same thing that you're doing. The time horizons are longer, but at the same time, it's just as challenging. You have to make just as many decisions. And it's really exciting when you actually start getting something that clicks and people start recognizing that particular thing that you're actually doing. So don't give up, keep going. I really know that you can do this. Really work through what you're actually doing and just keep pushing forward. All right, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Do subscribe to the YouTube channel. I do appreciate it. Take care and have a wonderful day. Bye.